Okay, so once again, hello everybody. This is our third session in the course Leadership and Soft Skills Development. And last week we had, I think, a great session with Dr. Agnieszka Zielenska, which gave us, I think, a pretty good idea of how to work in virtual settings, how to communicate with each other, how to lead others, and also how to know how to find your place in a small group. Today we're going to have something a bit different, but again, it's something that is going to lead us in the near future to one of the two assignments that we have in this course.
Hello.
And it's going to be a Costas session, workshop about awareness and leadership. Because leaders must always be aware of how they lead, what they do, who is working together with them, and so on and so forth. Awareness is a key concept for leadership and for everyone. And as I was mentioning, this is going to be very crucial for us, among other things, because one of the two assignments that we have is going to be to create a map of your career leadership. We're going to explain about it probably next week, so don't worry about it now. But anyway, the idea is to become aware of our weaknesses, our strengths, what we're good at more and what less in regards to our leadership skills. Okay, so as I was saying, today we have with us actually the leader of the entire Impact Project. And the Impact Project, for those of you who don't know, is actually the big project. It's a consortium of several universities led by Hellenic Mediterranean University of Greece. This is the university that Kostas or Professor Konstantinos Petridis is from. And Kostas is a professor of electrical engineering and is also, as I mentioned, the professor who leads the entire impact project, in which we are able to give this course among many other courses and other academic activities for the benefit of all of us. So I think he's the right person to learn about leadership from. And without any further ado, I will give the floor to Kostas. And if there are any questions about technical stuff, Moodle, things like that, guys, please email me, or you can stay at the end of the session and I'll take questions about technicalities then. So, Kostas, yes, thank you for the session that you're going to give us. Please go ahead.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon from Germany that I'm locating right now. So I would like to say a few things that Hillel mentioned. In papers, probably, I lead the project. However, whatever, I'm going to present shows how from my mistakes, I'm not a leader. Because I'm lacking a lot of times awareness of a situation, awareness of the opinion of the others. So I will try to share my mistakes with you in order to become better. After following the two first lectures, along this course, which is named Leadership and Soft Skills Development, I will say that they were so good, the first two, that it's like, someone to place me to sing after Frank Sinatra. This is what I would like to say. So I'm going to do my best in order to be interactive and discuss and share opinion during the next 90 minutes maximum. So I will do my best. But definitely, I have to work a lot on my leadership skills because by teaching something, you are learning more about yourself. So definitely, I'm far away of what I consider someone leader, and I will present some figures, from politics, from sports, that I consider these people leaders and why. So let me share my screen in order to start, not my singing, but my presentation. As my colleague Hillel has mentioned, awareness is something very important for the leadership, because to be a leader, you impact the decision, the fate, the personal development of others. So you need to be able to understand and be honest and be open and be fair with the others, with yourself, with the situation and awareness of your environment, in order, to maximize the positive impact of your leadership. So a lot of times in my life, I have lacked this combination of self-awareness and leadership. A lot of times I have not had listened the other ones. A lot of times I was biased by my opinion about others. And, I have resulted, a lot of failures. I have learned in my life to learn from the failures than from the successes, because I think that we are learning from the failures more things than the successes. So I will try to share my mistakes with you, and let's see the result. So the learning outcome of the today's session is like to understand the self-awareness. How do we define? How do we develop it? What are some tips that I can provide from, as I mentioned, from my experiences, from my mistakes, and how can we link it with the leadership? But I think that this is straightforward. I will repeat a bit, about some definitions of soft skills that a leader should contain. And I have discovered the following by teaching these courses, by interacting with great colleagues, many of them, they are on the audience, about soft skills development. Soft skills development are not individual stories. I mean, are stories that they interlinked, and when you develop a soft skills, you improve the other ones and many others. So it's a very hard story. The only thing that you need to do, a tip, is like to engage, aware of your weaknesses, improve, and go ahead. So I will try also to link, some of them. So before we start, I would like to share with me or with your colleague situations that you thought that you control the situation, or you thought that you can manage a lot of things at the same time, or you thought that you are the right and the others, they don't know what do they say. And this led to you to a lack of decisions, because decision making, a part of other things like collaboration, cooperation, emotional empathy, that I'm very bad as well, has affected your decisions and your leadership. So I will ask from my colleague Hillel immediately, let's say for the next 5 to 7 minutes, to split you in a breakout rooms of 3 people, discuss with your colleague, such a situation, and then come back and I will ask some of you to share your opinion. So the first, let's say discussion is like to go back. I don't know how many years or how many months or how many days. And, if you had any situation that you were lacking awareness of your capacity, of the situation, of the other people's opinion and situation, that affected your decision in a good or in a bad way, and how this affected your leadership. I mean, your driving of a team towards the correct, I would say, direction. So Hillel, can we split them in, let's say, in teams of 3, I don't know, probably 50 rooms, if this is possible? Or 30 rooms, if we would like to have 5 people.
Yeah. Groups
Not
of
more than
3
5.
people.
Anyhow, I'm not going to ask all of them. I will ask some of them to share their opinion. Yeah.
Okay. 1 second. So 3 to 4 people is okay?
Yeah, I mean, if there are 158, 8 of us, we are professors, 50 rooms of 3 or 30 rooms of 5.
Okay. Well, it's going to be, yeah. Okay. Okay, guys, rooms are open. Please join your room.
I think that we are more than 8 professors. Yeah.
Yes, that's okay. Quite a few of the groups are made up of 4 people, so
Yeah.
that's fine.
Yeah.
Let's
Excuse
see.
me, I haven't gotten moved to the room. Oh,
Who is
yeah,
that?
now I can see it.
I
Yeah.
placed you now.
Thank you a
Oh,
lot.
that's okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? Giuseppe, you can join your room.
Okay, it's okay. Thank you.
Okay. What about you guys? Julia, Chloe, Andrea, Do.
I think that you can pause now the recording. Pause, not stop. It's up to you. I don't know your policy.
What is that, Kostas?
I think that you can pause the recording now.
Okay.
Pause, not stop.
Pause. Okay, I resumed the recording.
Why
So
didn't you
everybody
put
should
the...
be here in 30 seconds.
Huh?
Welcome back, guys.
The fucking thing fell, mate.
Be careful of your language, please.
That was me, was it?
No.
Okay. They didn't hear me.
No, it was not you, Mr. Quality Assurance. All right. So I think that I can start, no?
Yes, everyone is here,
Yeah,
Kostas.
now everybody's in.
All right. So any example, I will start with my example in order to show to you one of an example of bad awareness from my side, among many. I was leading a big consortium, and we had to renew a very big proposal. I was a general secretary. I was considering and I was trusting the person that I was working blindly. The other partners, they were warning me that this person was not doing the right job. I was considering the other people that they did not know what they were talking about. I trusted the person, and at the end we failed, and I took all the blame because I was not aware of the situation. I was not listening the others, and the big consequence is like a whole group of 10 universities, to go around to, probably, to send all our work for 3 years to the garbages because I was not listening the other ones. I was not responsible, but I was not listening the other ones, and I did not identify the mistake of the work of an assigned person that probably I should control because I was not listening the other ones. All right, so this was like a very bad awareness of the other opinions, of my listening skills, and of the situation, because obviously the other person was delaying. I could see things, but I said at the end of the day, I had convinced myself everything will be fine. But, I took the responsibility. It was a very bad decision from my side as far as I was controlling the things. So these are something that I will never forget in my life. Other things that I have demonstrated very bad awareness, even contains impact. I cannot keep, this team, together because of various things. And I have failed, to engage a group of some universities in the project. So I don't know. I mean, I was not awareness very well, the situation from the beginning. So you need to listen. My comment, my conclusion on this, and then I will give the floor to Gabriel. It's like you need to listen the other ones. Even though that you are feeling confident, you need to listen the other one. A very bad, I will say, let's say advisor is when you are feeling very confident. When you are feeling very confident, you are not listening and you don't have a very good awareness of the situation. So the moment that your confidence is at the top, place a warning to yourself that something will happen, all right, regarding, your decisions or regarding leading a team. Gabriel, your side now, my friend.
Yes, so I talked about myself, and usually, by the way, I don't really
work a lot in groups, so a bit more time to think. And I remembered my time in high school, in which I and two other students had a project. I believe it was in civics to help with some of the laws, and I thought about the problem. I did give a clear, defined goal, like what we can solve, which was one good thing that I did. I gave a clear direction, and with the students, it was one with the first one is one with which I am okay. It's like not real friends or anything, but and another which I did not like so much, but we did manage to get along with each other, which that is the good thing, the goal, and managing with other people. But I did gather resources, but I don't think that I really coordinated with each other, or that we did the job together. I think it was missing. Everybody sort of did the job alone, and yeah, in the class there was really one student who did most of the job.
Thank you,
And
Gabriel.
so
What we are keeping from your side is what is delegate things when you are leading something. Very important to develop.
and coordinating.
Delegation is a part of the coordination, I would say.
Yes.
You need to trust, your colleagues and, delegate in order to let them to be developed together with you or together with the team. Teresa and then Anna, and then I have to move on.
Yes.
Very fast. Yes.
I would like to add, because you said you have to listen to the other people, and I add something more according to my experience. You have to use the brain too. What I mean, then in today's world, where we have so many tools, algorithm, ChatGPT, computer, Excel. Sometimes you can make mistakes because you trust the tools too much. In my case, I work as a sales coordinator. I'm working on a big project with Excel. I was sure 100% that I had a clear picture. I used Excel, all the formula, that. And today I discovered that I made a big mistake.
Yeah,
because I trust the tool too much. That's
all right.
The tool.
Prioritization and awareness of the situation and critical thinking is an important, I will say, soft skills, of a leader. And this is part of the self-awareness. I mean, you prioritize even your capacity. Once someone told me that, the careers are built on no's and not on yeses. So if you say too many yeses, then you overload yourself, and this is a mistake. Anna?
Yeah, just really quick, I wanted to add that I really agree that you need to listen to other people as well on the team, because I'm leading the equine section of the teaching hospital of veterinarian. And when we have really young vets that they are starting to work with us, usually when they're working in front of the bosses, a lot of times they take a step aside and they're really shy. And a lot of times you have the feeling that they're really slow, and actually when they're practicing with other teammates that they're not in such a high hierarchy, they relax, they flow. And for me at the beginning it was really hard to get to know this, that they were actually good into the team, because when I was there, they were really shy and they didn't want to add into the team. And then after starting to talk with other people from the team, and they were like, "Oh no, this person is great. She just needs the time." And I also learned that it's really good to encourage people as well. No, when you have this kind of like shy people, just maybe take it in a little bit more private situation and tell them, like everybody haven't started as you are doing right now, and like try to break the shell and get it a little bit more louder, no?
I will say what do you describe, Anna, is another characteristic that we're going to see emotional intelligence and be able to understand the other one's situation and encourage them to overcome the
Yes.
challenges with you, to stay as a team and move as a team in order to achieve the goals. Julia, and then Rhonda, and then I have to move. Even I can do the lecture without presentation, but anyhow, I like, always when you prepare a presentation, you are not doing the presentation that you are preparing, and sometimes you need to adapt. Adaptability also is a part of the leadership and adapt to the situation and how the things are evolving. Julia, and then Rhonda, and then I have to move.
Yeah, thank you. I try to be very quick.
Thank
So
you. I will appreciate.
I think it will be interesting to share my experience because I was in a classroom since I teach communication skill, of course, in Italian. And I met in that occasion, I remember, another leader in the room because I was in a company leading a group. And inside this class, there were the leader of the employees and all the other employees. The problem was that my lack of self-awareness was, I was totally prepared to handle my lesson inside the company, but this person was very in a bad mood, making continuous jokes and trying to let me feel, I don't know, in the wrong place. And it was like a battle between me and him for the whole period. So it was like a nightmare. At the end, I made it. Anyway, it's difficult to manage the situation where there is another leader in a different position and there is no communication working between us.
I will say, Julia, this is a situation that, I mean, probably all of us will have experienced. And I will say now, by listening to you, one of the characteristics of the leader, of course, is the awareness of the situation, that it's someone like with a leading, let's say, personality together with me or with the others. I mean, to select the conflict is a bad decision. I will say negotiate with him and with yourself to step back and try to communicate and understand his or her position in order to move ahead. The same, of course, will happen from his side or her side. So probably, negotiation is a part of this awareness as an action. Thank you.
Kostas, maybe we want to give an opportunity to one of the students. Excuse me the interruption.
Yeah, I mean, if the students, they raise their hand, I will give it. Anyhow, another thing of a leadership, Hillel, is like lifelong learning. A leader should understand and learn continuously in order to be aware of his capacity and be able to deal with a lot of challenges. So I think that even the professors, including myself, we are students in the rest of our life. However, I will appreciate to you, so I will give the floor to Fatima and then to Professor Sofer. Fatima? I mean, I cannot hear you, but if it's my issue, it's my issue.
No.
Okay, let's provide the floor to Rhonda and then to Fatima until she's going to solve the technical issue. Professor Rhonda Sofer. Again, you are unmuted. We need to listen.
Hi. I just want to give an example of when I was a leader of a major ERASMUS program with 21 institutions in 7 countries. We had our kickoff meeting, and this took 2 years to develop the program. The kickoff meeting had an agenda for each day. We're going to do this and this and this and this. And the first day of the meetings, we sat in a big circle to get to know each other. And one person stood up and said, well, before we do the agenda, maybe we should start defining what is multicultural education. Stan, this is multicultural education. And the last thing I wanted to do was to have a theoretical discussion when I had an agenda, what needed to be done between this and this time. And I was starting to argue with the person, and then somebody else says, yes, it's important that we're all on the same page. A colleague of mine pulled me aside and said, Rhonda, he said, you're the bus driver, but you want the people to get on the bus. And this whole process that they want to go through now is really important, and you have to let them go through it. So So therefore, the importance of being flexible, and I let them do it for 3 days, and when we didn't get anything done, I said, okay, you had fun, now we're going to, who wants to be in this working team, who's going to do this, and we got it done, but everybody was on board. So I think the importance of being flexible, listening to your team, realizing it's not a one-man job, you want to have this, a leader needs to have people to lead. And I think the flexibility and being able to adapt, that was it was a humbling experience, but a very important experience for me to realize the importance of listening to those that you want to engage, and you want the project to be their project and not only your project. So that's all I wanted to say.
Yes, in the meantime, I'm listening all of you some keywords in order when we finish this round of discussion, to keep it as a message. So again, I will say empathy and emotional intelligence is very much related to what Professor Ronda has discussed with us. And leading is not leading yourself only, which is very important, but leading the others as well and be developed together. Then I will give the floor to Roman, to Fatima, and Tatiana, and then please do not raise your hands because we have to move to the next step. Roman?
Yes, thank you. I have a question. So I agree that we always need to negotiate with another leader, but sometimes it's hard to find a common ground, especially if a person insists on sticking to their opinion until the end. In this situation, what we should to do in such a moment?
In my opinion, you should step back a bit, give them, the floor to lead, and then try to, to make him to realize that probably there is another option. If you start to conflict, then you destroy the team. And as Rhonda has mentioned, you need to lead the bus. You do not want to lead the bus to the catastrophe. So a little bit step back. This has to do with our ego. And then during the process, identify how this person communicates in order to show to him or to her that there is another option, if this is the case. So my suggestion to you, step back a bit.
Yeah, thank you.
And now the floor to Fatima and then to Tatiana. Fatima, I hope that, excellent. Thank you, Fatima. Oh, I was too optimistic. Fatima, we cannot hear you. Then I will give the floor to Tatiana, and then I will move on, try to fix your technical issue. Otherwise, you can chat, and then Hillel will read your message. Tatiana.
Yes, I would like to share also one example where for sure I did the mistake, but still today I'm not sure how should I react. So when we have the hierarchy, we are the leader somewhere in the middle of the hierarchy, and over us are the next leaders. So if I'm aware of something that on the upper level was not done good, I was in the situation either to let them know that this was not okay or not. I didn't do it. After I did it, and I was punished when I showed that something was not done well.
So this is not a leadership from their side, not from your side. So these things happened and you need to go on. A leadership attitude on this, you go on your way towards your own targets. I mean, sometimes people, they are too selfish. They think that, this is, the decision to take. You need to live with this. You cannot do a lot of things on these things.
Yep. I was expecting like that, but this is, I believe, a life experience also for our students that could be done.
And one of the things of the leadership is resilience. So you are not, stopping your, let's say, your efforts in order to achieve something. You select a different way in order to achieve instead of, feeling a disappointment because of the decision of other people. All right. So I kept, let's say, keywords in the first round to remember: lead the others, be with the others, personal development of the others, emotional intelligence, empathy, listening, negotiating, and sometimes step back. I was going to keep in this first round this, wording in order probably to remember or not to remember and link it with our experiences. Thanks, everyone. And let me go to my transparencies to move on. And let's go. All right. So, these are some statistics from the Harvard Business Review that I'm reading a lot in order to increase my literacy in a lot of things. So successful leadership means that how your action impact the others. Self-awareness is the starting point because this measures your capacity, this estimates the situation in order to lead and take decisions together with the others. But at the end of the day, this is the beauty or the curse of a leader. You have to take a decision. It's good when the decision is good, but sometimes you need to take the responsibility of wrong decisions. So look at this. According to Harvard Business Review, is less than 10% overlap between people's actual and perceived competence. So only the majority of us, this looks like from the Harvard Business Review, we are not aware how many things we can do, what we can do, what is the situation, and this is our perception, and the situation is different. This shows that a very lack of awareness with leadership. People are hired in leadership position because of their confidence and not because of their competencies. And among this survey of 1,000 people, in more than 800 companies, the people that they were higher in the hierarchy in more prestigious companies, their main characteristic was the self-awareness. So it's a KPI that we used to say in the project. So it's like a key performance indicator, it's a quality indicator that the more the self-awareness, internal and external. Internal means how do you perceive yourself, external, how the others perceive yourself, makes a quite big difference regarding leadership. So what we would like to discuss today, I hope, is like what is leadership. This is going to be very fast because, as I said, we had, experts, in the topic in the first two sessions about self-awareness and how it's connected with the leadership, how we can develop or we can improve. This is, what we would like to do, our self-awareness in order to improve and leverage our leadership and, some exercises together. So what is a leadership? I mean, I don't know if we have the time now. I have to manage my time as well, about the qualities and the elements of a leader. But I will keep the transparency like this, and then you can raise your hand and say to me, identify a leader figure from your life, what were his and her top 5 characteristics, and how these characteristics can be developed in higher education. There's a lot of questions, how we can improve our self-awareness and thus our leadership. And I will say the way that we teach in the universities, but also how do we stand as a students towards our learning, defines a lot all our soft skills, and in this case particularly our awareness towards the improvement of our leadership skills. So I would like, and I will give you some time, to 2-3 of you, mainly students, as Hillel has mentioned, but as I said to you, I consider all of us as students, identify a leader figure from your life, what his top 5 characteristics, and how these characteristics can be developed in higher education. So I will give the floor, let's say, to some students or people, colleagues, participants, like, as I said, like all of us were participants here, to raise your hand. Oh, this is my selection. To raise your hand and tell me, some examples of the others. All right. Since I have to play with my time, I will give you my characteristics and I will explain to you how. So in my case, I propose these people for various reasons, and I will try to respond to these questions. So I think, first of all, Steve Jobs was one of the leaders. Of course, you will say here, what is it like, the situation? Steve Jobs, Alex Ferguson, Venizelos, or even Simon Peres, why they were leadership figures? They were famous and definitely they demonstrate very high soft skills, but probably I can inspire, I can give an example from the rest of my life regarding the attitudes that these people demonstrate. First of all, Steve Jobs. Why Steve Jobs? Because he was aware, a part of his innovation, that the users of the computers, they would like something more friendly. They would like something more functional regarding, the software or the design of the product of the computers, for example. And so he was aware of the situation. Alex Ferguson for his vision. Right? Among others, because he visioned to build something more than a football team, a club, and he managed to do Manchester United, a club that is based on the local and national and international talent, and this talent, how they can inspire to generate more talents, and these talents they can play in Manchester United, but also they can play in other teams, but also to develop personalities, so that's why Alex Ferguson for his vision. Also, the other figure that has demonstrated by time, I think it was the most successful politician in Greek state, which was like Eleftherios Venizelos, for his vision and his decision making to make the right decision for Greece and as a country to experience the highest prosperity in any time. And for the Simon Peres, I think for his courage to, set up, the regulations or the vision that two communities, how they can live together by doing step back, regarding key decisions. All right. Or for Simon Peres, for another reason, a part of the peace by his vision on how to convert a state from an agricultural one to a technology based in order to generate fortune. I have other types of in my life, but these are my selection regarding figures that I know for their vision, for their resilience, for their commitment, for their communication, and by their courage. So, anything from your side? Any figures that they have inspired and you think that they were, for some reason, leaders? Because of the awareness of their capacity and the awareness of the situation, these people, they were very much aware of the situation when the decisions should be taken, of the next step of their vision regarding their field in order to lead, a whole technology or a whole club or a whole industry like the sports. From your side, anything? Okay, Carolina, thank you.
Hi. Well, I can only think of like an actual leader I had when I was younger. So it was my first manager and my first job. I can't remember exactly the questions initially, but something I really got from her, besides, I think she was very aware of how much I could give. As I was like a young employee, like she really pushed me. Like she was a manager that she really pushed me, and she got me to a place she knew I could get there. She was really good at leading in that way. She had amazing communication skills. She also had those soft skills that at the beginning she was really good at keeping them, the emotional side of things. She was really good at keeping it a bit more aside. She was being very firm to get me where she wanted me to get, and also at the same time fulfill the expectations of my job, which I was working in a restaurant. And I feel, well, I always say that I'm really grateful to her I think she really helped me become the employee and the worker I am today, quite a few years later. And yeah, she's someone I remember, like I saw her many years later, and I was very thankful for everything she gave me. She also taught me that I can reach for more than I think I can reach for. I'm more capable of what I think I am.
Thank you, Carolina. I kept, you generated 3 more words on my keywords, summary. And Nicole?
Yes, by my side, a very good figure for leadership is Mr. Michele Ferrero, the old owner of the Ferrero Company, which is a huge company of that which product chocolate and sweets and other. And he realized the some very important rules for the leadership. For example, the fact that it's very important to listen everyone within the company, also of course the employer, and take always clear decision, and never think that maybe only because I am a leader I have to be alone in my decisions. I can listen to the others and find new ideas and maybe some help to find the better way to proceed. The communication also.
Thank you, Nicole. I kept, all
Thank
the
you.
notes. Federico, and then Angeli.
Real quick, I'll go with a former manager too. From a former manager I had. His greatest quality to me was his own awareness, his awareness of his own ignorance, of how little he knew about what we did technically. So he gave us a complete. We had his complete faith that we were the ones to make the technical decisions, while he was making the higher level decisions. Now he's still my manager, not directly above me, and I hope that's the kind of awareness I myself learned as I'm now in his place.
Thank you. Angel, thank you.
I don't have to say too many things because they already said, but I will talk about also about my manager. That the most important thing that I think about him is that he's patient. He prepares his next steps before to take any actions, and he's very emphatic. He always talk with us and try to guide us in our path, but in his own way. And it's also very organized, and that's an important thing when you have many projects and you have to manage all of them.
Thank you. Thank you. So based on your feedback, I add more keywords like vision, resilience, transparency, team player, awareness of ignorance, delegation, next step, and inclusivity. All right. So let's see, how many words we are going to include by the end. So thank you. So all these, words. Also, I would like my last question to you is like, how do you expect the higher education to develop all these keywords, soft skills, during, the lectures or during your studies? This is something that you should think, because I'm going to ask as a debate. So about leadership is like you need to inspire the others in individual and organized level. You should listen, empathize, group many, towards meaningful objectives in order to lead the team, working along with the others and not by yourself, and try to create a galaxy of stars, and don't project themselves as a star. So, you need to help them, as you mentioned, for the development of the members. So I will go very fast on this, because you have mentioned the skills of a true leader is listening the others, in order to take the account their competencies, their opinions, that they will help to create and shape and be aware of the situation and the capacity of the teams, and be able to delegate based on the competencies of the others, the various tasks of the projects, of the challenges that we face. So listening is something very important, and listening means do not interrupt the others. Now I'm talking, like about myself, that I interrupt the others all the time. In order to lead the others and help the others to be developed, you need to build your expertise. So what are you doing in the university? And this is the biggest weapon that you have is the knowledge. So you are in a place that you are building your knowledge. Your knowledge is not, it's not to pass the exams. The knowledge is like shaping your character, shaping your qualification, shape your next step, shapes your capacity as a leader, because you need to know the situation that you are dealing. And then this will place the threshold. I know so many things. He knows more. I have the critical thinking and the decision making to assign and allocate, this task to the others. I cannot make everything by myself. So be able to learn, and how to learn, is a very important thing of your awareness and what the others, they consider you. Because one of the things of the leaders is like the others to trust you, not because you are a bullshitter, not because only of your confidence, but the real confidence is built on the knowledge. So openness to the lifelong learning is something very important. Another thing is like, of course, to dare. I mean, all these people, all these visionaries, they dare. You are taking the risk. However, as one of you mentioned, prepare the next step and be aware, have the instinct, what is happening around your topic or around your team, and what should be the next step of your team. Take some decision making and take, some risks. But however, you need to calculate these risks. Knowledge, listening the other ones, and experience by building by mistakes or similar situation, lower the risks, but you need to take the risk, because this will make the difference of the team to be something different than the others. But try to calculate this and be aware of the possibilities and what are the capacity of you and your team. Another thing is collaboration. You mentioned a lot of times. I mean, we need to go together, and we need to be aware of the situation and the capacity and the skills and the competencies of the people, and how we can collaborate and communicate this in order to address the challenge. Sustainability. A lot of times, and we have elections now, we are doing things. We are doing things well. However, a leader should live, not only the sustainability from the climate point of view, but whatever you are building is to be sustained, to organize the system that it will be ready to continue your job. All right. So this is the next step, and the sustainability for your institute, for example. Another one is the vision. So this has to do risk management. It has to do with the knowledge. It has to do with the awareness of the situation and when you need to take a decision. Another one is the communication, because a leader is what? Is leading the others. But you need to communicate. You need to convince the other. You need to place the people to understand. A lot of times in the classroom, in order to build the awareness of the others, to be confident to think, we behave to the students like, yeah, you need to know that, or you should know this thing. Or we do not be aware of the minimum knowledge that our students in this particular group do they have, in order to communicate the new knowledge in a way that we are going to encourage, and we are going to motivate them to learn and be developed together. And I will say our duty as teachers is like to be leaders and be aware of the knowledge of the minimum level that we need to communicate, and together promote the new knowledge and be developed together. Problem solving and decision making is the life of a leader and his or her team. And in order to provide a more inclusive, more holistically solutions and take the better decision. You need to listen, communicate the others, and take into the consideration, the capacity and delegate, to the other tasks we have already mentioned. Self-awareness is like what we are discussing until now, and let's move to the next about self-awareness. So the self-awareness, I will say, we have said a lot of things, is, emotional, let's say, intelligence. We mentioned this among the keywords during our discussion. You need to go to understand your emotions. You need to understand the emotion of the others, because this reflects your self-awareness, internal self-awareness, but also external self-awareness. Awareness means that you observe how the others, they perceive your behavior and your, let's say, decision or your directions or your guidelines. You need to observe, because this means that you need to adapt, change in order to move together to a solution or to the next step. So internal and external awareness, helps to have a better awareness of the situation and of the others. Here I have an exercise for you, and I think that we can have 10 minutes in order to do. So, a lot of people, we are talking about SWOT analysis. And SWOT analysis is very good in order sometimes, to propose a new technology, but a lot of times it's a good thing in order, to self-evaluate our situation. What are our strengths? What are our weaknesses? What are the opportunities as that exist, for in our environment, and what are the threats? So I would like, yourself to think, and then I will move on. Probably I'm not going to break out rooms here, to recognize your personal values and priorities, identify what triggers you in a positive or in a negative way, your emotions, understand your strengths and your limitations, and how open you are in the feedback of the others. This is something that is quite challenging for a lot of leaders because of the ego, if we can consider them as a leaders. The feedback, the debate from the team. I mean, if you would like to acquire the most holistically and the true awareness of the situation within the team and beyond the team, you need to be open to the feedback. And then it's your decision making on what you can accept and what you can reject. All right. So these are the 4 things that we need to think as a SWOT analysis of ourselves. Me personally, I'm very bad in receiving the feedback of the others because I'm taking things personally. So I'm working on this. I have not managed to work it perfectly, but it's something that I don't think so. It's a characteristic of a leader. A lot of times, for example, I think that I can do everything. Theoretically, probably I can do, but in practice, I cannot do. All right. So I overestimate my strengths and limitations. So think about this in order to improve. I think that I have to move a bit. So the other thing is like the impact. I think that we mentioned it. Is grounded. Successful leadership is grounded in self-awareness. Your effectiveness without self-awareness is limited, as we mentioned. By self-awareness, it's better, to position, adjust, and adapt, to the situation in order to lead. And also self-awareness that this is a lot of things happens, even now that we live in this area, in this era of conflicts, of, let's say, of miscommunication and disinformation and misinformation of anything. I think that a self-awareness, the first thing that we should do is like, in order to aware a situation, is like to take out our biases. I was a basketball player, and when I was playing in the highest level, people, they told me, I was a point guard, they told me, Kostas, evaluate the situation, not with your heart, but with your brain. All right, because heart and emotions, it contains a lot of biases. So try, before you evaluate the situation, try to how can I say, reload any biases and any prejudices that you can have in order to do the good decisions. So decision making is very important of the awareness, and also your leadership at the end. Adaptability. Sometimes you need to change. Sometimes you need to say the same story in a different way. You need to adapt. Or, as I said, in the classroom, I need to adapt each semester with a group that I have to teach, let's say physics 2. I need to adapt on this. Emotional intelligence, learn to listen the other one, the other situation, empathy, try to encourage, you mentioned already this, try to consult the people, do not try to dictate, your decision, try, to be inclusive. And when you have all of this, and together with your knowledge, you build your credibility in people they trust even to speak and also to lead a team. This is the exam that I gave to you regarding my deficiency, regarding awareness of my capacity, awareness of the situation. So I'm working on this. And these people that also I have mentioned, even though that I consider them as a leader, some of them during their life, they demonstrated lack of awareness of the situation and their capacity. And probably you don't know all of them, but I'm pretty sure that you know Michael Jordan and Steve Jobs. And I would like to ask you, why do you think Michael Jordan and Steve Jobs, they have failed in period of their life as regarding the self-awareness and as a fact to lead, their team or their companies? What do you think? Just a moment to find, where we are regarding the situation of the participant. So even though that Michael Jordan was considered a great player and the leader of a whole Chicago Bulls because of his talent and because he made the team, to win the champion, but in his life he failed. So he failed for a particular reason. Even Steve Jobs failed. He failed because somehow the people, they expelled him from the Apple. He went to another industry. So for some reason he failed there. He managed, of course, to come back. So where did they fail? These people. Regarding the awareness. They failed regarding the awareness element. I'm not asking, anything. I will give the floor to Nicole, to Roman, and then, I don't know, Magdalena, I don't know. Do you agree that they failed, or do you have an answer, or you suspect an answer? Let's give the floor to Roman. Magdalena, Nicole, you lower your hand. That's why. Roman?
Yes, I cannot talk about Michael Jordan and his story, but about Steve Jobs, I know that he just couldn't find the common ground with his team. His team not believed in his ideas, so that's a reason why he was fired from Apple in his first try. Can I say it like that?
Yes, I think that he generated a gap. And whenever we have a gap between us and the group, this is a risk that you are not aware. This gap is because of not awareness of the capacity of your team and what you can do in order, to make them believe and be developed with you.
Yeah.
Correct. Very correct, Roman. I will give the floor to Ilan and then to Magdalena and then to Professor Sofer. Ilan.
Yes, hi, hello. I would like to add to what Roman said and say that they failed because they were visionaries, they were boundary pushing people. Of course, to be something so outstanding, you have to fail because it requires you, just like exercising, to tear muscles, and it means failure. Failure is the reason why we grow. So they had to fail. Otherwise, they wouldn't be admirable. They wouldn't push past the limits.
I totally agree with you, but in a particular, if we examine things in a particular moment, because things they can be examined in time, but in space as well. So if we examine, in the time, they miss the commitment and the belief of the team. So I mean, a leader without a team, even if you have a vision, at this particular time, they failed, regarding the communication, for example.
Yeah.
So I totally agree that they demonstrate, they are leaders because they demonstrate resilience and they came back. They change the decision, they adapt, they overcome their mistakes and they adapt to a new situation. However, there is an element of failure in order to become a leader. You are correct. And also, what is the other guy? Also correct.
Thank you.
Thank you. Magdalena and then Professor Ronda. And I hope, Fatima, that you have corrected your audio because I would like to listen. And Gabriel, I think that you raised your hand. You lower it. I don't know what is your decision, but then give the floor to Magdalena.
Thank you. Okay, so when it comes to Michael Jordan, I think he had a very intense leadership style, and that's why he lacked self-awareness. I think he expected as much as from his teammates as from himself, and actually I can share that. Last week, I watched a conversation with another sport person, Robert Lewandowski from Poland, and he is the same. He expects so much from himself, and he thinks that everyone, for example, from his team, should do the same. If they want to win, they should put as much effort as he puts, but he doesn't understand that not everyone simply they can't do it as much.
Correct. This is very correct. And this is also a part of the gap. Whenever you are feeling, remember what did I say, the confidence, the overconfidence. You need to examine, also your team's capacity, and you should step back to take them together with you. This is, leadership. I mean, this gap, you are not aware of the situation. You think that the others should perform or think like you. Yeah, this is, a mistake of overconfidence. Rhonda?
I was going to sort of talk about Michael Jordan too, but it was already said. It's winning at all costs and disregarding the feelings of his teammates, even bullying.
Yes.
In an article that I read. So more or less, that's where he failed in terms of his self-awareness.
Correct, emotional intelligence. About Michael Jordan, in order to continue, the picture is like when he tried to play, baseball. He overestimated his capacity that he can be as good as in basketball. This is like, lack of awareness of your competence, in the environment of the baseball. Okay, so he failed also from this perspective. Aliosa?
Hello, I have a question. For the second picture, it says King Constantine II, but it should be King Constantine I. That's the photo.
I mean, I'm talking about, a king in Greece. So I'm not.
I know. That's why I'm asking. Is it just wrong? I think the picture
No.
is King Constantine.
I think he was the second. The picture probably is the wrong.
Yeah, the picture is then the wrong.
Yeah, you are correct. And I'm very glad that you know about the Greek history.
Yeah, he got dethroned during World War I for being like a German sympathizer.
Exactly. Yeah, right, exactly. I mean, regarding Venizelos, he did not be aware of the capacity of the Greece. During Venizelos, we have expanded in 3 continents, but we were a very small country and we could not, sustain this without the alliances, without the allies. From the moment that our external, let's say, affairs were not aligned with, the global situation, we were in the wrong part, in the wrong, side of the history, and we missed. And this is something that happens right now. Our leaders in this situation that is changing a lot and they need to adapt, they need to be in the right part of the history. We don't know. I mean, later on, we are going to find out if they were awareness of the situation or not. But this is something that happens even in the global affairs. So let's move. And I will move, because I think that I have other things. So the recommendations on how to develop self-awareness in order, to promote our leadership, I think that is like the first recommendation is like help your team in order. The first recommendation is like help your team in order to be aware of the situation, to be aware of their capacities and how you can help them to get improved, or help them how to resolve a challenge and bottleneck in order to go ahead. All right. So this is something that we need. In the case now, I think that someone asked me that your supervisor or your boss lacks self-awareness. Try to teach him or teach her, if this is possible, that this situation has another solution. I think that we mentioned at the very beginning when two leaders happens at the same time. Learn to cope with their dark side. If you are in a team that you can see that we have not good awareness, try to communicate your message the way that they can understand. And at the same day, or quit, or learn to coexist with the reality distortion. So, how to develop and evaluate? Never stop to learn about yourself and what makes you tick in order to take a decision. Question any strong reaction to people in events. What did I say? Aware and observe your decision making, your strategy in order to lead your team, and listen the others with your attention. Be an observer internally as well and of your emotion. Reflect on what the observer is telling you, which means your friends. A lot of times we have friends and they say, like, Kostas, be aware of what do they say. Be aware of your behavior. Be aware of your jokes. So we need to have these consultants around us, our friends, in order to not overcome and do not overstand. Gabriela will give you the floor in 2 seconds. Try to prioritize. And also try to communicate the same story depending on the audience and on your team. So let me give the floor to Gabriel. Gabriel?
Yes, about self-awareness, it's something in which I am good at. I can see the general situation in which I am present from the outside, even if I have problems or difficulties in it. I can you can say that take a third side and look at the general situation and facts. It's like having the ability to look objectively when you probably would have a subjective perspective. It's like it's also about taking a step back and not letting your emotions get in the way.
Thank you. I totally agree, Gabriel, with you. So let me go ahead to finish. It's like what Gabriel mentioned. A lot of times we need to take breaks in order to go outside of the situation and evaluate our decision and our awareness in order to go ahead. So the last thing that I would like to do with you is like for the next 5 minutes and then conclude. Like I would like, where is Hillel? Hillel to break out, to rooms. Again, the same rooms probably Hillel we can do. I hope Hillel is here and not,
Yes.
All right, because the situation is difficult. Like break out the rooms, and I would like you to discuss 2 things in the room with your colleagues. How you can improve your self-awareness, and how, as a teachers, in the universities, the way that we teach, what is your suggestion as a students, how we should change the way that we are teaching in order to improve your self-awareness skills and leadership skills in the classroom. 2 things. How you can improve your self-awareness, what are you doing, tips in order to teach the students and ourselves, and how the teachers like me, Hillel, Tatiana, Rhonda, and I don't know, Anna, if you are a teacher or a student, you are too young, probably, to be a teacher. What are your suggestions? How we should teach, physics in order to promote the self-awareness and the leadership among our students, for example. So I will give you 7 minutes. In order, now it's 21 past 6, in order to finish 6:30 and do not have overtime. So Hillel, can you please?
Yes, and I suggest, guys, before you move to the rooms, take a screenshot of this assignment so you have it with you. Okay, and Kostas, I'm going to open the same rooms, right?
Yes.
Okay, so it's going to be the same rooms as before.
And I would like to evaluate a lot their opinion on how we should change, if we should change the way that we are teaching in order to promote leadership. And this means awareness, self-awareness of the situation.
Okay, great. What's going on here? I see many people who were not here before, so I'm going to assign you to the rooms.
Sorry, I just wanna tell that it was wrong room in last time. So can we try to find my room with Marina via piano?
We will try to do that. 1 second. Let's see. Ilan, you have to change your name with the last name.
Can you repeat, please?
Roman, why can't I see you?
I don't know. I'm not changed.
Okay. Maybe you have to exit and come back to Zoom because
Okay. Okay.
Okay, is there anyone else here who doesn't have a room? Guys, you need to join the rooms.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, Roman, okay, let's try to send you to one of the rooms. If it's a different room, doesn't matter.
No, yeah, no, okay. It's
Okay,
okay.
room 7, you can go.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? Anna. Anna, is that you, Anna Veyoso? I see Anna here. Ilan, what about you? Are you joining your room? Christian, Wycliffe?
I don't have a room yet.
Excuse me?
I don't have a room at the moment. I don't have a room yet.
Well, you should. So maybe you need to exit and come back again. Okay, so try to exit Zoom and come again.
Okay.
There, I'm going to send you to one of the rooms. Please join. Antoinetta, you're a supervisor, right? A professor.
Antoinetta is the supervisor.
Yes. Okay. Anyone else? Ahmed, Rayan.
Never mind now, in 3 minutes I have to bring them back.
Okay.
But the majority of them are part of, all of them, they are supervisors. Jaroslav is a supervisor.
Yeah.
Elena is a supervisor. Tatiana supervisor. Irina is supervisor. Antoinetta supervisor. I don't know if this Anna is a supervisor. I don't know who is this Anna.
I'm not sure.
Okay, students, like Ben
Okay.
I don't know. You can call them back, Gilel.
Okay, I'm calling them back. I'm closing the rooms. That gives them 60 seconds, so they should be here in a few moments.
Yeah. Okay, so until everyone will come.
5 seconds, Kostas.
5 seconds, okay. 5 seconds, 5 seconds.
Now, they've been kicked out of the rooms, so they should be here.
All right, so I would like to listen a couple of you, tips on how to improve and develop our self-awareness regarding, building our leadership. Dominica, thank you very much. You are the first, Ilan the second.
All right, thank you. So I think that a very good thing is writing a journal about our day and then see our behavior and look for some improvements, based on the things that we have done.
Excellent. Like a notebook, like a diary, no?
Yeah, exactly, diary.
Excellent. Thank you. A lot of solutions. I can write a paper now. Ilan?
Yes, I actually agree totally with Dominica. I would suggest something even before writing a journal is stopping and practicing mindfulness. Being present with your emotions, being introspective of what you're feeling. That helps you center yourself and focus. So focusing on the other person, on the team, focusing on yourselves allows you to not be distracted and allows you to actually notice and be self-aware. That's the point of it. So meditation for sure.
Thank you, Ilan. Samer.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
it's two things. First things to have a coach and mentor for yourself, that somebody that you trust, and you have can open your heart. Most of us do not share our failures, but share our weakness, our strength, not the weaknesses, but have the one to share everything with him. Second thing, the journal, but to write three things. First, what was good in a certain period of time, what was good, what was bad, to write it down, at what things need to be changed in that period of time. And be honest with yourself. Try to change things. The second question, I will finish quickly. We need you to give us a story, real stories about leaders that they failed and success in a certain situation in their leadership time. And we discuss, and every one of us have a reflection about the successes and the failures of each leader about relate to the certain story.
Thank you, Samer. Thank you a lot. Fatima. Excellent.
Okay, so I would like to say that I do agree with all the opinions that our colleagues said, and I want to just like add how the teachers can improve also the self-awareness of their students. So they can, like teachers, they can provide some constructive feedback and also encourage the peer feedback. When students receive different perspectives about their behavior, they become more aware of their strengths and weaknesses and all those points. Also, they can open some discussions and active listening. The final point that I would like also to mention, it's that teachers, they can integrate their students in some like teamworks and leadership activities, to that students can take some different team roles, different roles, to help them observe how they interact to so much in so much cases. Yeah, and this is the overall idea. Thank you.
I get to know. Veronica.
Hello, I have something similar to Dominica, but I also think that really important is knowing the feelings, like read about them to understand more how do we feel, because sometimes we can think that we are angry at someone, but it can be just a disappointment, and then it's kind of different. We should react different in that situation. Yeah, thank you.
That's why I mentioned that you need to prepare yourself and you should know what triggers you. A lot of times, in Paris meetings, I think that people trigger my nerves, so I'm prepared before the meetings. Sometimes works, sometimes does not work. So try to control your emotions. Thank you. Angel.
So probably I will talk about two important things. One is going to be to talk with your friends or with your colleagues about your emotion, but in a freely way, to try to not judging each other and to put yourself in somebody else's shoes. And the second thing, to write down three things that you are grateful in that day, because that's gonna improve your emotional. It's gonna impact your behavior.
Thank you, Angel. I kept this. Discuss your emotion, empathy, control your feelings, Roman.
First of all, I need to say that I'm agree with Angel that good decision to put ourselves in someone's shoes. And one more thing, one I wanna say that also helped me in my life to improve myself, that a way we can improve ourselves is by trying to see ourselves from other people's perspective. Sometimes we don't notice how our behavior looks to others. So when we consider their point of view, it helps us to communicate better and become more self-aware.
Thank you, Roman. Julia.
Yeah, very quickly. For me, another important thing to collect feedback is to pay attention to the non-verbal communication in between the teams. Because sometimes being aware about the energy and the other communication besides verbal of our colleagues can provide us with some important suggestion about our improvements.
Thank you, Julia. Body language is important to observe. Sharon.
I guess it's a follow-up to what you just said. I thought about an action we could take to take a couple of seconds before we answer or say what we want to say, because sometimes we're very excited to share our feelings and our ideas, but sometimes we need to count to 3 and see if anybody else has anything to say, because we're in this together. And that's it.
Yeah, I totally agree. Depends on the culture. In my case, I should count to 10. Not 3 is not enough.
3 is enough for me.
Thank you. Nikolai.
Okay, so I will mention that in other way. So you can manage the stress in situations like practicing the pause, that you can taking a deep breath and pausing it for 3 seconds before responding, like the Sharon said, and you can avoid reacting purely on emotions, and you can take your time to make a better decisions.
Thank you, Nikolai. Angelica.
So hi, and my idea and method is to pause for a moment and look at myself and my actions as an outsider, and then think about what I can do better next time.
Excellent, excellent. Learn from the past, from your experience. Theodore.
I mostly think that in order to succeed in a communication, you have to respect 2 golden rules from both camps. Like first one is express honesty, and the second one is listen with empathy. And you have to first observe the situation, the facts, then acknowledge your emotions. Like an example is to say, to know I feel anxious, not I feel ignored, to express your needs and values, and then to make the request.
Thank you. Thank you, Theodore. Anna, and then Marina, and then we need to close.
So for me, one thing that is important of how we can improve our self-awareness is to get written feedback as well, because sometimes the direct feedback occasionally can feel a little bit confrontating. And I think that in some occasions, the written feedback gives the time to reflect on what you want to give, a little bit of reflection of what you want to write. And then also for the person that receives it, also have a little bit of time to reflect through that.
Thank you. Marina.
Yes. My opinion is that we should take care about our emotions, not just put them on the side, but analyze them as they impact on our identity. This is the problem. If we don't understand why that emotion is getting into our identity, we can't just put it on the side. So this is an important point to consider.
Thank you, Marina. So by closing, now I have my notebook based on your feedback. The keywords for today: lead the other, emotional intelligence, listening skill, negotiation, step back, empathy, team building, personal development, communication skills, vision, resilience, transparency, team player, awareness of ignorance, delegation, next steps, inclusivity. People, we should not let us believe that people, they can act or they can work like us. And the solutions: notebook, diary, practice mindfulness, trust people like a coach and a mentor. In my case, I have my wife. My wife is my psychologist, a person that I trust because she's very objective and very hard with me. Provide examples, be rest, learn from your experiences, control your feelings, discuss your emotions and empathy, see other people's perspective, observe body language, wait before you respond, kind to 1 or to infinity, depending on your explosive culture, and receive the feedback and be open. And then for the professors and the universities, include peer feedback, debates with the students, and leadership activities. All right? I hope that I captured everything. This is the main message. I would like to thank you. Toda rabba in your language. Muchas gracias. How can I say in Italian? I don't remember in Italian. Grazie mille.
Grazie mille.
Aristopoli.
Grazie.
Exactly, Alexandro. Good night. Thank you. And to see you next time. All right?
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Costas.
Costas.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye to everyone.
Nice evening.
Bye.
Thank you, Hillel.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye, Costas.